And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley, coming to you from my home studio in Caldwell, Idaho. This is the new Shaping Success studio. We are going to be broadcasting here for a while now, and it is just going to get cleaner and better every single day. That is all there is to it, and that is what we are working on. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today. Again, another solo episode with myself. We will be having some interviews coming up because I do have some people that I really want to get in here. But I was thinking about a lot of things today. One of my friends who came in here to kind of help me get this organized, and once we get the cabinets in here and the shelves and all that stuff, I'll start having all my memorabilia in here, and at some point, I'll give you guys a tour of the studio. But he was talking about my shirt, and probably for like the last 5 solo episodes, I wore the same shirt, my Move Forward shirt. And it's funny because I started to realize that I have a bunch of shirts that I wear, and they always have a meaning on them. And I've been wearing the Move Forward shirt because to me, that's a very spectacular thing, is to completely, continually move forward every single day, to become better, to be more, to not let the things in life get you down that you let get you down. And sometimes you have to get off that path and then move forward. That's all there is to it. That's what it takes. It takes getting knocked off your horse and sometimes getting back on to go. So I have some quotes here we'll talk about in a minute, but my shirt here says break the mold on it. And it's a little bit of a kind of acronym, but that's something that I try to do every single day. Break the mold, be different. What does it mean to break the mold? It means to be different than the next one. A mold is something that they create a product in. You pour whatever is in there and you use the same mold over and over and over and over again. So you're like everyone else. I don't want to be that. I want to break the mold. I want to be that piece that pushes and makes that mold go away so that they have to make a new one. If you ever heard someone say they break the mold when they made you, that's what they meant. You are the last one. You are the last one of that kind. And that's how I try to be every single day of my life. I try to be something different than what other people are. I try to be a different person. I try to be a better person every single day. I had a great conversation with my friend. Some of the situations that have been going on in my personal life with work and things like that have opened up the opportunity to talk to more people, not just in interviews. And if you guys don't know, the podcast for me, although I like to bring you guys value and share these interviews that I do with you, it brings me a lot of value myself. And that's why I like to share it, because it helps me to think outside the box. It helps me to break the mold. It helps me to move forward. It helps me to do all these things. And that's what I love about shirts like this, is that it says something on there that I think about. And it's a constant reminder when I look in the mirror that I'm going, yeah, that's right. Remember to break the mold. What can you do differently? I have some other shirts that I wear too that have sayings on them. And I want to kind of talk about that because I think that a lot of times we forget who we are. We forget what we're trying to do. We forget our path. And sometimes we are afraid to do what this other shirt I have says, which is bet on yourself. Okay. Here's a quote here from Pete Wentz. If you don't know who he is, he's played bass for Fall Out Boy. It says, always bet on yourself no matter what the odds are. It means more to be in the race, to watch the victory laps, than to watch to be... means more to be in the race than to watch the victory laps from the stands. I've said it before in other podcasts talking about baseball. This is kind of a reference that I like because baseball is like you can't be in the game from the dugout. Sitting in the dugout does not get you on the field. So you have to be willing to get in the game in the first place. So what does that take? That takes betting on yourself. And sometimes some people won't bet on you. So you have to take the first step. You have to be the one who is willing to go out there and do the task in front of you. So if you have a goal, if you have a dream, you have to not be afraid to take that step. And I think that a lot of people get lost in that. The biggest fear, the biggest risk that you sometimes have to take is betting on yourself. The thing that is different between you and everyone else who's telling you not to do something that you want to do is that they don't have the belief that they can be successful in that job, in that thing, in that goal. They're afraid that they can't do it, so they're projecting that behavior onto you. They're telling you, don't take that risk, don't do that, don't be the person who goes out and just, bets on yourself. But they don't know who you are. They don't know what you're capable of. They know what they're capable of, and they compare their fears to the things that they've been through, not what you've been through. So betting on yourself is very important when you're trying to reach a goal. You have to visualize it. You have to make it happen. Sometimes you're going to fail. Sometimes you'll get off the horse. Sometimes you'll, won't get started. And that's when you give up. That's when you fail, is when you don't try to do it again. And it's a tough thing to do. Some of the conversations that I had today, someone was talking to me about, those types of things, about how at first they didn't think that it was a good idea to do this. And people are telling you, you can't do that. And then you start to build up this thing in your head that you can't. And I am always very confident in what I'm doing. I know that I am good at what I do. I know that I am capable. But what happens is someone tells you you're not, and then they get that doubt in your head, and you're like, well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if there's this? And what if there's that? And you are the only person who can make that choice for yourself. You may seek advice from others, but you have to understand that you are in control of your destiny, and it is up to you to do the things that you want to do. Here's another quote that I really like, that I really want to talk about. I like being tested. I get as scared as anyone, but the feeling of putting yourself in line, betting on your talent, and having it work, that's the most exhilarating feeling in the world. Now, does that mean that it's going to work the first time every time? Sure doesn't. It doesn't mean that. This is like episode 228, 227. Have I had an episode go viral yet? No, I haven't. Have I had clips go viral? No, I haven't. Have I made a lot of money? No, I haven't. But the moment that I stop producing these shows and stop making content is the day that I give up. When you believe in something, when you know that something is going to happen, you are willing to continue to move forward. You're willing to continue to work on it, no matter whether you've reached the desired goal or not. Because you do know that you're putting in the work and you're going to be able to reach that goal at some point. That is the toughest thing to do. One thing someone told me at one point in my life was, take care of the task in front of you right now. And I think about this, and I kind of related this to my inbox, to my work inbox, my email inbox. Raise your hand if you have, more than 100 emails sitting in your inbox, because I can guarantee you, like if you have an iPhone, it has the little bubble and it has the number on there. I guarantee there's many people who have like 80 in there. That means that you haven't read 80 emails, right? That notification. So you can turn that notification off if you want, if you don't want to see it. That still doesn't mean that your inbox is empty. I check my email regularly, and when I am done with a task, I clear it out. I move it. I create folders. I put that in there to organize those things so that I know that I'm done with it. And then if something pops back up and I have to go back to it, I know where to find it. The thing is you have this list of 1,000 things, and say you have 100 emails and they're sitting in there and they haven't been opened, and now you're starting to get overwhelmed. What can you do? You have to start going through them, right? So what is the first thing that you have to do? The very first one, right? So the task that is in front of you is the one that you need to get taken care of. Once you get that thing checked off, it's out of the way. Move it into its folder. Move it out of your inbox because you're done with it. Now you have 99. So you have gotten one task done, and you are getting closer to your end goal, which is to have that whole thing completely emptied out. So you need to go and you need to take the task that's directly in front of you right now, handle that situation, and get it handled. Who's got the hot hand? Who's in the way? And that will help you to feel like you're getting somewhere. I used to listen to Lewis Howes quite a bit, and he had Chad Wright, who is a former Navy SEAL, on, and he was talking about running a race, and I actually did an episode on it if you want to go check it out. But he was talking about running a race. He does these ultra marathons, or like 100-mile runs, right? Well, the race starts with one step, right? And there's a lot of steps involved in a 100-mile run. But you have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And then sometimes you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh shit, I only went 1 mile. I got 99 more to go. So if you look at that big giant number and you go, I got 99 more to go, it's going to take you a while to get there, right? So what you can do is you can look at the task in front of you. You can pick out a target in front of you. You can get to that target, and it makes it seem much smaller because you're chunking it. You're taking down one thing at a time. So say there's a tree and it's 50 yards in front of you. You're going to get that 50 yards. And then when you get there, you look ahead of you, and what's 50 yards more? Oh, there's another tree. And you're continually building up to get from tree to tree to tree until you hit that 100-mile mark. Now, I'm not going to go run 100 miles. I think that's crazy. But say you're running a mile and you talk about the laps and you're like, oh, I got 4 more laps. Well, you got 4 more laps. You finish one, you got 3, right? The number keeps getting smaller and you get closer to accomplishing the goal. It's the same thing. Take that race 1 lap at a time. Take that race 1 tree at a time. Take that, whatever you're doing, and chunk it down into smaller spots. Find the checkpoints, hit those checkpoints, and just keep going. Once you decide that you're not going to hit those checkpoints, you're done. But it will make it look smaller and it'll make it easier to accomplish. And that is something and a tool that you can use to keep doing that, to keep going. It's a long race. Life is a long race. I'm 43 years into this race and I'm still not quite sure where it's going. I know what my desires are, and I have an idea of what's in front of me, but that doesn't mean that there's going to be something that gets in my way. We're looking for that tree in front of us and we trip over a rock. Does that mean that that tree's still not there and we can't get to it? Nope. You get back up and you go again. Really important to continue to do that. Those are people who break the mold. Those are people who keep moving forward. People who look at those obstacles and tell them to kiss their ass and keep on going. Last quote here that we're going to talk about is about success, because this show is called Shaping Success, right? I created this show to show people that success is generated by you. You choose what that looks like. You are the person who is involved in creating your success. So how do you do that? You be the best person that you are no matter what every single day. You strive to be better than you were yesterday. Let me say it again. You strive to be better than you were yesterday. You were yesterday. Trying to be better than the person that is beside you will never get you anywhere. Being a competitor is great, but compete with yourself, because guess what? If you are better than you were yesterday, you're winning every single day. You're never going to be perfect, and that's all there is to it. But you can strive for perfection to try and be better. So never stop. So this quote says, successful people have fear. Successful people have doubts. Successful people have worries. They just don't let these feelings stop them. The moment that you let fear or doubt stop you, success is on its way out the door. That's a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough thing to think about, because everyone wants to be successful, but not everyone wants to put the work in. And I can tell you that when you put the work in and you get it done, it feels so much better, and it's a bigger relief when you know that you can do that. I've been struggling with other people being in control of a lot of my situations, and I've decided that will no longer be in control of who I am. I will be in control of myself. I will control my destiny. And I know what that looks like, and I know how I'm going to get there. There are some steps along the way that I'm going to have to take to make it happen, and I hope that you guys follow along. But remember, we all have fear, we all have doubts. We just don't quit. Thanks for hanging in here. If you want to support the show, you can join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Go check it out. The links are in the bio. If you'd like to get some Move Forward shirts, let me know. Hit me up with your size, DM me. They're $27 shipped. We can get them to you. My friend Jay Finney makes them in Arizona, ships them out really quick. They get there quickly. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.